Well, next, let's queer up politics. New book talks about VP Kamala Harris's commitment to LGBTQ on the global platform. In Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey's new book, Kamala, The Motherland and Me, he details a pivotal moment from Vice President Kamala Harris's historic 2023 tour of Ghana, Tanzania, and Zambia. The book provides an inside look at Harris's leadership on the world stage during this 9-day international trip. At a joint press conference with Ghanaian President Akufo-Addo, anticipation surged as reporters waited for the vice president's response to sensitive topics. She addressed different issues from economic development, climate change, and investments to foreign policies. However, her response to one particular question showed the kind of leader Harris is. The New York Times White House correspondent at the press conference, Zolan Kanno-Youngs, raised a question about Ghana's proposed anti-LGBT legislation, specifically a bill that would criminalize same-sex intercourse. Despite visible disapproval from the Ghanaian delegation, Harris responded with unwavering clarity. She said, quote, "I'll start. I have raised this issue, and let me be clear about where I stand. A great deal of work in my career has been to address human rights issues and equality issues across the board, including as it relates to the LGBTQ plus community," end quote. She also emphasized that supporting fundamental human rights issues is a priority for her and the Biden administration. The book has been launched at the right time as Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris is fighting against far-right former President Donald Trump in the 2024 presidential election. Her confidence, leadership, and people's trust in her will get a newfound boost from this book. Well, what do you think? I mean, I think she's on track. She's on fire, and yeah. I'm excited.
You know, one of the things I like about this story, I appreciate that, Larry, is really it's leadership. Like that's what it is. Like it's you can't change people's minds overnight. It takes leadership. It takes real like ambassadorship, right? Like diplomacy, right? Yes. And this is what to kind of have a firm stance and make clear where you stand and why you stand in this way and in this kind of non-ideological way. It's paving a path, and I think that's really important with respecting sovereignty, right? Like this to me is leadership, and that is, if anything, what we need is leadership, and she is it.
Right. Imagine Trump in that role.
No.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Just babbling on like the moron that he is.
Yeah, in light of her, her presidential bid, and, talks about whether, global leaders will respect her or not. Talk about like her just like standing up for what she believes in,
well said.
On a global stage. As to your point, Leo, like this is leadership, and she showed leadership, and kudos to her for standing up for her principles.
Yes.
And I think she couldn't have said it any better, Some people would probably take a more PC approach to it, and because they're in somebody else's country, but she didn't. She hammered it. This is my position, and this is our position as an administration. And so very bold, very leader. Like that is a global leader, again, to your point, while respecting their sovereignty as well as a country. Right. And, I've traveled, I studied a little bit of Ghana and Ghanaian politics. And so, it was interesting that they've introduced this bill because actually Ghana has been one of the most stablest democracies on the continent of Africa. And so they're still culturally, very respectful of their culture. However, they've been a little bit more progressive than some of the other African countries. So I'm a little shocked that they had proposed such a bill only because of how progressive they've been. And they've been very stable. They have not had any international or internal wars or anything like that. It's been over 60 years now, a pretty stable democracy. So pretty shocked about the story.